Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily. Thank you for tuning in. Your Madison City Schools broadcast will begin momentarily.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of Madison Board of Education School Board meeting for February 8th, 2024. Will all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Ms. King, roll call, please. Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Board, if you'll review the agenda in front of you, I need a motion and a second to proceed.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Lessman and a second by Mr. Overcash. All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Agenda passes. That will move us into presentations. Dr. Nichols?
Mr. President, members of the board, I'm going to ask Dr. Kerry Donaldson and Mr. Shannon Brown. I see Mr. Brown. I don't know if I see Dr. Donaldson anywhere. So come on, Mr. Brown. We are recognizing State Superintendent's Visual Arts Exhibit winners.
Good evening, Dr. Nichols and board. Once again, our students never cease to amaze me at Liberty Middle School, and at this time, we'd like to recognize Ryan Flagg for their artwork that was recognized by Alabama State Superintendent. This time, I'd like to have our teacher, Miss McKenna Smith, come up and say a little bit about this.
Good evening. I am so thrilled to be presenting Miss Ryan with this award this evening. Ryan is not only super creative and a wonderful artist, but just a wonderful student. Her character is impeccable and her hard work in class is just amazing to see. So she is so deserving of this award. I could not be more proud of her. And I know this is definitely not the last accomplishment we will see from Ryan because she is just amazing. So congratulations, Ryan. We are all so proud of you.
Ryan, would you like to say a few words about working on your work of art?
Well, I created this piece for a project where we used a grid over a picture of ourselves and transferred it to a bigger piece of paper. Mine was of a picture of me from a couple of years ago that I just felt like was an important part of my life. And I used it for this project. I didn't really think much of this piece when I was creating it, but Ms. Smith came up to me and was like, hey, can I put this in this state competition? So I said yes. I didn't think that I would win, but I got third. Yeah. I'm very proud of that.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You can get a picture in the front if you want. Yeah, come on.
Picture, come on.
Looks like you'll be in it.
All right.
Congratulations.
Dr. Donaldson, hello.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
I'm going to introduce this young man, and I have his picture of the award he won, Connor McDougal. He's a State Superintendent's Arts Award winner. I don't know if y'all can see the picture, but bam.
Pass around to us. Let us
Mr. Peck will get a copy and post it on social media.
Thank you.
Can you see it?
It looked like a photograph from right here.
It does. It's really nice. So, Connor, congratulations. I pulled him out of class. He had no idea why I was pulling him out. I said, congratulations. I called his mom, and so she was excited. I wish his dad would come up. Come on up, buddy. Indeed. So, great young man, very respectful. So, I'm truly happy for you. How you doing, sir?
Well, I would like to thank, I'd like to thank my art teacher though, Mr. Overcash. He is seriously a huge inspiration for me. He was super motivating. If I ever had a question, I'd go straight to him. He'd give me an answer. And I also really excited about Miss Vaughn because she has also motivated me. She's helped me through a lot of my art process and hoping to take her class next semester. But yeah.
Well, congratulations. We're very proud of you.
Congratulations.
Wait, I'm doing it again.
You will be fine.
Congratulations.
Next presentation, Dr. Nichols. It's an exciting one.
It is. I'd ask Dr. Heather Donaldson to come forward.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols and board. It is an honor to acknowledge a very special group of educators in the audience with us this evening. Our National Board Certified Teachers. Just to share a little bit about the program, more than a decade of research from across the country demonstrates the positive impact that National Board Certified Teachers have on student achievement. Studies show that students taught by board certified teachers gain an extra 1 to 2 months of learning each school year, and the positive impact of having a board certified teacher is even greater for minority and low income students. Why is that? Because the National Board process propels teachers to move through rigorous professional analysis, reflection, and intentionality with regard to their instructional practices. As a district, we recognize the value of National Board certification, and in the spring of 2015, we committed to providing more support to help our teachers through the process. At that time, our records showed that we had around 21 board certified teachers. Since the spring of 2015, we have been blessed to contract with Cindy Davis to help facilitate the process and mentor teachers who are pursuing board certification. When we started in 2015, we were unable to provide monetary support to the teachers, but we were able to provide mentors and a support network. We are very excited that over the past few years, we have been able to provide monetary support through DODEA grants, the Committee of 100, and the Schools Foundation, and we are extremely grateful for their support. In December, what you've all been waiting to hear, the National Board released the list of newly certified teachers, and Madison City had 11 teachers attain National Board certification. So this raised our total number of National Board certified teachers within the district to 105. I would like to give a very special thank you to Cindy Davis, but to all of our mentors, because every candidate who's going through the process has a mentor who works with them as they pursue board certification. The group works very hard to support our teachers, and right now they're currently supporting 27 teachers who are on their journey toward National Board certification. So Ms. Davis, if you will also join us up front, and here you have all of the teachers who have attained National Board certification this year. I'm going to call their names, and if you'll just step forward so everybody in the audience knows who you are. Amy Harbison, Bethany Kackelman, Hannah Napier, Jennifer Chandler, Jeremiah Brand, Laura Phillips, Lauren Hillis, Leslie Tigner Hughes, Nancy Hartfield, Sarah Pravalli, and Shamika King. So you may be wondering who the group is along the wall. We also want to recognize our board certified teachers who renewed their certification this year. You don't earn national board certification one time. You have to continue the process and renew every 5 years.
Wow.
And so we are excited that all of these teachers went through the process to renew board certification. And again, I'll call your name, and if you'll step forward. Kelsey Cooper. Not everybody's here, so I'll say the names and we'll go on if we need to. Jane Herndon, Heather Kell, Megan Kirsteins, Adrian King, Kara Lawrence, Beth Massey, Nicole Murray, Julia Nagel, Sharon Rowland, Carrie Scroggins, Sarah Stewart, Wendy Tibbs, Kate Wade, Katie Weir, and Mickey Worley. Congratulations to all of you on this tremendous accomplishment. We are so proud of each of you, and we just cannot thank you enough for the impact that you're making on our students' lives every day. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Now, don't rush off, because we've got to get a group picture. We're going to knock this out. John's excited. But first of all, let me say to each of you, those of you that this is your first time, congratulations. This is a tribute to the amount of work and the professionalism that you have and that you're willing to reach out and do to make yourself the top of the top. You know, they have this movie out there called Top Gun, where the best of the best show up. Well, you are in the best of the best. We are not giving you a plane, okay? But you have truly soared where a few people go. And I know that you're not ever there by yourself, that you get motivation, you support at home, support of your colleagues, support of folks who are your mentors. And to those of you that are on the second journey to Top Gun, it's not any easier the second time, probably, but you have also been a role model to these folks who have made that first journey. You have sat in a room and shared that it's worth it, that it's made you better at your craft. And we are certainly proud to put your star, those of you that are new, your star on the wall, and put that at your school to just say thank you for being willing to invest yourself in something that helps our kids. And certainly proud of each of you. I think John will want a picture, and we will do it easy. Let's take the returning mentees. If you are a new time person, take one step back, up on the lip, and then slide to the right, and then the returning go in front of them. There you go. We've done this before, trust me. And now John, and some of you in the back have been taking pictures. You're more than welcome to come up here and get a better shot if you want one of the group. So certainly are.
Tighten up a little bit. Yeah, come on now.
I tell you what, if you don't mind, board, would you join them, please? Would you all join? Our board certainly supports this. Dr. Donaldson, if you would come up here, Mr. Terrell, our board certainly supports this venture and the monies and things that we do, and I'd like y'all to join.
I'll try. Do a hand up.
If you don't get it, there's a tall Kentucky fan behind you. Everybody got it? Okay.
Excuse me, before all you guys leave, can somebody go to the microphone? And I'm just curious, can you speak to, were you surprised at the support that you got from your mentors when you was going through this process to receive your National Board certification? There we go, there we go.
Line them up.
So my name is Jeremiah Brand, a happy teacher at Journey Middle School. I was really intimidated with starting the national board because I heard about how hard it was. And Cindy Davis is absolutely amazing. We can get a round of applause for her. Even just looking at the scope and the sequence when she laid it out at the beginning, she said, "You can do this," and I did not believe her. But you know, when the way that they lay it out and the support that they give you, the mentorship and the recycling of information, you know, you don't pick it up the first time or the second time, and they just keep giving it to you and teaching you just like we're supposed to be teaching our kids. So it was absolutely fantastic, and I'm super grateful for it. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other presentations tonight, Dr.?
No, sir.
That'll close out presentations, and it'll take us to the time of the meeting of public comments. This is the time, if you've signed up with Ms. King prior to the beginning of the school board meeting tonight, that you can address the board. You'll be given 3 minutes, and we just ask that you make your comments respectful, as there may be differing opinions in the audience. Please also do not refer to specific individuals by name. Comments about specific individuals should be addressed to the board in writing to protect the good name and character of the individual. Ms. King.
I don't see Militia here. No.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gregory Wallach. I am the proud father of 2 daughters who go to Madison City schools. One goes to Madison City Elementary, the other one goes to Discovery. They're doing great. They're getting great education. So I appreciate the job everyone's doing here. I'm specifically here to speak about the bus situation for my younger daughter who goes to Madison City Elementary. We have 8 kids in our development. It's a small development with 18 houses. There's 18 kids, and their bus pickup for Madison Elementary is at 6:15 in the morning. And it has changed from 6:40, which was incredibly early for these little kids, to now 6:15. So, you know, the parents are getting together to try to do an informal carpool, but it's really difficult to get everyone up, especially when you have multiple kids. And the kids have told me that in school they're being told, hey, we're supposed to get 11 hours of sleep. Now, I would love to get 11 hours of sleep, but even so, 6:15 is really early to get an elementary school up and ready. And what makes it even more difficult is school doesn't start till about 7:40. So you're looking at an hour and 25 minutes between the time they're getting picked up to the time their real school day is starting. So I don't know what can be done. I appreciate that the bus situation is difficult and we're hurting to try to get drivers. I understand that. But these kids on our block are going to school and they're getting to school and it's just really tough for them. So I just hope that there's something that can be addressed. I don't know why it changed, but it's 6:15 is quite early for elementary school kids. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Wally, if you will, Mr. Payon is right there in the back. If you will give him your email, okay. I will reach out to you. I want to get your address and that, and we'll look into that.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Ms. King? No further comments. We'll close public comments and we'll move into business action items. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the consent agenda. It contains the following items. Minutes 24-02 of January the 29th, 2024. B, field trip requests for Madison City Schools. C, facility use agreements for Madison City Schools. D, a professional service agreement by and between Criterion K-12 Consulting and the City of Madison Board of Education for guidance, training, and support in financial administration. E, dual enrollment courses for our secondary schools. And F, the 2023-24 updated salary schedule relating to speech pathologists, occupational therapists, and physical therapists for summer work.
Board, the superintendent recommends the consent agenda items A through F that you have before you. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Overcash and a second by Ms. Lessman. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Consent agenda passes. Dr. Nichols.
At this time, Mr. President, members of the board, I would ask that Ms. Williams come forward and present the December 2023 financial and bank reconciliation statements for Madison City Schools.
Good evening, Dr. Nichols and board. I'm presenting the December 2023 bank financials and bank reconciliations. Currently for December, our revenues are up 13%, and our operating expenditures are at 10%. We are currently at 45.11 operating days, and our sales tax is up 19%.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the December 2023 financial and bank reconciliation statements as presented by Ms. Williams.
Board, the superintendent recommends the December 2023 financial and bank reconciliation statements for approval. Can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Cummings and a second by Mr. Overcash. Discussion? I'll just let the public know that we have a financial committee meeting where Ms. Williams goes over these in details, and we appreciate all their work and their presentation every month on that. With no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I present to you for first reading 3 policies, a revision of the mental health opt-in policy, a revision of the Alabama Literacy Act policy, and then a policy 7.16, selection of instructional materials and materials for school media centers. This is a new policy that comes out of the need to create a policy from legislation from the Alabama State Legislature, and I present them to you for first reading. Of course, Mr. Newberry and Ms. Lessman are part of the policy committee, and Ms. Lessman may want to speak to those.
Yes. So the mental health opt-in revision basically was to clarify that you'll continue to get regular counseling services as long as it's not including, I think it's written in there too, mental health therapist or other mental health therapeutic license. So you'll still have a school counselor. The Alabama Literacy Act, we added one word, academic, to clarify that. That was the one word change for that. And then, let's see, what's the next? Oh, Literacy Act. The selection of instructional materials, other than textbooks and materials for the school media centers, we had been working on a policy prior to when the state board that's coming from the state, and they actually addressed the media center, and we went ahead and broadened it to include instructional materials as well as textbooks. This policy basically reflects a procedure that we already had in place, but we made it into a policy. I think that's it, right? That's
Yes,
all.
I think so.
Thanks.
Board, any further discussion? Of course, there won't be a vote tonight. We will get those published out on the website, and they'll be available for review and for comment. And then we will take up the adoption at another board meeting. Any further business actions, Dr. Nichols?
No, sir.
We will move into personnel actions. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval a list of substitutes for Madison City Schools.
Board, the superintendent recommends a list of substitutes for Madison City Schools. Can this be taken as a group? The group being fine, can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Lessman and a second by Mr. Cummings. Any discussion?
I think Dr. Jha has a 300% increase in the number of people from this month to a week ago. Good job, Dr. Jha.
I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the supplemental contracts for work to be performed for Madison City Schools.
Board, the superintendent recommends approval of the supplemental contracts for work performed for Madison City Schools. Can this be taken as a group? Group fine. Can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Overcash and a second by Mr. Cummings. Discussion?
Most of these are pretty standard. They're beginning to, we'll have some supplements for our spring activities, our spring sports. Also, I would make note of, we're continuing to do our Orton Gillingham training. I certainly appreciate the focus we have on that. Lee Shaw has really helped us to reach out and get support from the community, help with our students that have dyslexia. Certainly appreciate continued expansion of that. Our goal is to have all of our teachers trained in those abilities and skills because they're good techniques for all of our kids. So we certainly appreciate the work there. Otherwise, pretty standard for those type of activities.
I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the remainder of the personnel agenda.
Board, the superintendent recommends approval of the personnel actions that you have before you. Can these be taken as a group? The group being fine, can have a motion and a second.
So move.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Overcash and a second by Ms. Lessman. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Dr. Nichols, are there any personnel actions that you'd like to call special attention to?
Well, believe it or not, Mr. President and members of the board, we're beginning to start the folks having retirement announcements. They're dated in June. I'm not sure, maybe there's time to change their mind. I don't know. But we have a couple here on the agenda. David Sipple at Discovery will be retiring. He spent 28 years in manufacturing and retired from there. Worked as a biology teacher and education research at UAH. He went to Discovery, has been there 10 years, served as the Project Lead the Way, Medical Detective, Scholar Bowl, Astronomy and Space Club. He has grandson already at Rainbow and a 3-year-old granddaughter, and he enjoys biking and kayaking, and he's going to try to do a lot of those in the future. And so we certainly wish David well. We also have Janie Darby joined the Midtown Wildcat team in 2022, and she will be retiring. Will greatly miss Midtown, and certainly Ms. Demeester says they will certainly wish her well in the future. And then we have 2 retirees, both in math at Bob Jones. Michelle Mitchell has taught 18 years at Bob Jones, been a supporter of volleyball and baseball and the Diamond Dolls as a booster club, and has certainly worked to help students at Bob Jones, and prior to that was in Huntsville City Schools. And Keena Schwartbach is retiring, teaching math and computer science since 1999, teaching math courses and honors courses and leading the graduation committee. Now that alone should get you 3 extra years of retirement doing that, because that's always a chore. And certainly we wish all of these folks the best in their retirement. We know that they have given a great deal to Madison City Schools, and we certainly hope that their retirement is beneficial to them as they have been to the school district. You did, in this process, hire someone new who will fulfill not only a teaching role, but also a coaching role. And I'd like to introduce you to the new volleyball coach at James Clemens High School, and that is Megan Aldridge. Megan is standing there, and Megan comes to us from Danville High School, where she coached volleyball and also taught advanced English language. She didn't start out as an English language teacher. She started out as a speech pathologist. Nice. And found that working with kids, she liked to teach English. And so she went back and took the test and the classes to become an AP English teacher, and also as an AP English teacher grader. I don't know if that's the proper terminology there. If you've never watched that, I actually watched a teacher do that one time. They send you the writing sections and you grade those sections, and she does that for AP. And while she was the coach, overall coaching record there of 134 wins at 62 losses in volleyball, and led their team to the Sweet 16 several times. And so we're very excited for Megan to come. We're very excited for her to join the Jet family. And I would thank Dr. Donaldson and Mr. Watts, the athletic director, and the staff, who all, Allison, who all went out, and others on the team, parents that interviewed, a good panel of folks for that, and this was the winner. And Megan, you have some family with you tonight. Would you like to come forward and introduce them to us as well? Because they're all joining the Jet family. One of them's not dressed for volleyball.
This is my son Brooks and my husband John, who picked out his own JC colored shirt.
There you go.
Thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Nichols and the board, Mr. Terrell, Mr. Donaldson, Mr. Watts. Every experience I've had, all volleyball parents, since this process started, has been fantastic. I'm extremely fortunate to be able to get to do what I love to do. So I'm excited, my family's excited, and we're ready to start.
Well, we're glad to have you with us, and I spoke to a few friends of mine who, they may have had people, girls on your team. They were very sad that you were leaving. And, you know, and I told them we're sorry, but not really. And so, you know, and I think the other day when Mr. Terrell and I met with Megan, if you spend about 5 minutes with her, you'll find out that I think she was ready to go coach that afternoon. I think if we'd have told her the team was in the gym, she would have already been there. And we certainly look forward to your tenure there. You have a great staff to work with. They're highly supportive. And the Jet family is a great family to be a part of, and you will enjoy it. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And Mr. Peck will get your picture before you leave, so just remember that. Okay.
Dr. Nichols, before we move into superintendent comments, we did have a member of the public that put in for public comments, and she's now arrived. And so if it doesn't displease the board, I'd like to open public comments back up. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Ms. King?
Let me think about that.
Good evening, greetings, apologies for my tardiness, but thank you for letting me come before you all. My name is Melissa McLaughlin, and I am the local Alabama Education Association UNISERV Director. AEA's mission is to promote educational excellence. Being a 19-year educator with the latter half being spent right here in Madison City Schools teaching English and invited to the yearbook program at James Clemens High School, I know that this community feels the same way. I would like to thank Dr. Nichols, Mr. Terrell, Mr. Holcamp, and the board members for caring for students, supporting employees, and working with our legislators to positively impact our schools and our community. Having some of you as guests last week at our annual AEA legislative dinner was both heartwarming and reassuring. So thank you for making the effort to come out and be seen with us. If there's ever anything that I can do in my advocacy position to help further our shared academic goals and visions for our community, I hope that you will reach out and let me know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Nichols, we'll move into superintendent comments.
Just a few things, not several, a few. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Donaldson. We had monitoring, we survived it, and somebody always has to lead the way, and that's not an easy job. But she also has help from Summer and Misty, who I think Summer and Dr. Donaldson spent days on the career tech side alone, but they certainly work together along with all the coordinators that we have in all the areas that were monitored. And I just want her to know how much we appreciate that work. You know, I also want to thank her and Mr. Peck. You know, I get a lot of attaboys out in the community because I send a weekly update to parents, and I just need to be truthful and say thank you, Dr. Donaldson and Mr. Peck, because they put 99.9% of that together. I might toss in an idea every once in a while, but they fine tune it and get that information out, and I certainly appreciate that and want to thank them for that. I'm proud of our JC boys and our JC and BJ girls. They'll be going to the regional in Wallace next week. I believe it's all on Wednesday. One plays at 10, one plays at 12, and at 9, 10, and 12. So if you want to just take the whole day off and go watch basketball, you can at least go down early and go watch all three of those. I think that says a lot for our programs. That three of our teams are there, and we're very proud of what they've been doing. Also appreciate Sharon Powell and Mr. Peck and Dr. Donaldson for coordinating. SAIC came today and did a presentation with our cyber students at JC, and they are going to do that at BJ next week. Thank you. Very, very proud. We have wonderful cyber programs in our school. You know, and I certainly appreciate them working with our students, giving them an idea of where they can go in that professional avenue and area. And I certainly appreciate our teachers for the work that they do. And they're in the competitions that our groups have had, they have outperformed anybody in North Alabama. And so very proud of them and the work that they're doing. And I appreciate the coordination of Ms. Powell and folks for that. Dr. Zinkel, I want to thank her. We had a meeting yesterday, and in that meeting was a representative, I think, of every school in the district, a special education parent. I didn't know what in there, but it was kind of like a love fest. I don't know. You know, some of those parents in there shared stories, and I told them I wanted to share them with some of our teachers because the challenges that maybe their student faced, and now 2 years later, you know, their student is just doing more than, one lady even said more than I thought. And you know, I think that goes back to culture and what we've established. And Dr. Zinkel, I just want to thank you and your team that you've put together, and Tracy and Melissa, and I'm now freezing on Kelly. Thank you. Thank you. Leading all your folks, but the work that's being done out there by our teachers. But I also want to thank this board. We had a job fair the other day. It's my understanding we had a job fair the other day, and Dr. Zinkel was the Maytag repair person. She was alone at the table. We were trying to hire support staff, and she didn't need a single special education aid position. I'm not sure that's happened in a decade. I don't know. But the board stepped up, and we gave an incentive to some of our special ed aides and teachers that work in challenging places. It's helped us to keep people and have a continuity and to have time to put trainings and professional development in place that will last. And Dr. Zinkle, I just want to thank you and your team for doing that. I want to thank those parents that came. They are such a wonderful resource and support to the district. And then I, you know, the other day I just have to call him out. Our special ed basketball team played the other day at James Clemens, and you know we're all concerned about academic time. I'm as concerned about that as anybody. But I want to thank Dr. Donaldson. They may do it at BJ, and I'll get in trouble if I say this, but and if they do, I'm going to thank them too. But Dr. Donaldson, for 2 years in a row, has pulled the students out of class to cheer on their peers that are on the Special Olympics basketball team. And I'm going to tell you, that's an educational, academic moment for those kids. And here's the thing that I loved about our kids that day. They were playing buckhorn. Maybe that's right. Am I okay? I'm getting old and I forget from one week to the next. They cheered for every kid. They cheered louder for our kids, but the buckhorn students would make a basket and they would cheer for them. And then, you know, the kids got out and Dr. D danced on the floor. I heard there were other people dancing. I can't prove it. I know you do. And you're not tenured, so just remember that. But, you know, we're about all. And we celebrate all. And I just want to thank you for doing that. I thank you for taking the time and letting our kids do that. It's probably one of my favorite days of the year. And I just thank you, and Dr. Zinkle, I thank you and your team. I really do. I think y'all have developed and built a team, and certainly appreciate that. And I want to thank Mr. Terrell, because for a long time, he carried all that for a good bit some ways, and Dr. Donaldson too. And while Dr. Donaldson was quick to relinquish anything she had to do with special ed, and I'm just teasing, you know, at Mr. Terrell's heart, he's a special ed teacher. You don't know that, just get him around kids and watch him. And, you know, I told somebody, I was interviewed by Pamela Bass this week, and don't watch that because you'll get a big head. And she told me, she said, when you say something about Eric Terrell, your face changes. You have a different look on your face. And I said, let me tell you something. We are blessed every day that Eric Terrell walks the hallways of this school district. And at his heart, he loves those kids. And I certainly appreciate that. He relinquished it gradually to Dr. Zinkle, and because he knew all that had been done behind it. Quickly, I'll say to our counselors, it's Counselor Week. We had a breakfast. Thank you, Stephanie Allen, and our social workers, and we had a great breakfast for our counselors. They do such a tremendous job in our schools. It was Crossing Guard Day yesterday, and let me tell you something, there are a lot of jobs that I might do in the future, but being a crossing guard probably isn't one of them, and I certainly don't want to be one on county line. You know, but these folks go out and make sure our kids can walk safely to school in those neighborhoods and go by. And then Dr. Jha had her new employee orientation. Now, have we done that before, Dr. Jha? We've never had that before. It's a first. We don't get a lot of those in 20, you know. And she brought all of our new employees in, and they talked to them about absenteeism, and they talked about work skills, and I talked to them about, you know, our district and what the kids mean to us. And, you know, I appreciate the fact that Dr. Jha and her team are continually looking to reinvent what they do to better support and our folks when we get them on board, but also to attract people to be in our school district. And so I thank you, Dr. Jha. I appreciate that. So the only person I hadn't thanked is Woody, and I appreciate Woody. No, I just want to throw that in. So, so, you know, we're very blessed to have great staff. Laverne and Jen are here. And Tommy and Eric, we've got a great team, and I'm just blessed to work with these folks. There's a reason our district excels is because we have great folks across the board at the school level and here that do a great job.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. Now, start with you.
At our last board meeting. But we did manage to, or most of us, some of us, did get to do another car line at Mill Creek this week. It was a little chilly, but it was always fun to see the kids, especially the little ones that are half awake at that point. Some of us also took a webinar on school ransomware, which was very interesting. I found that Birmingham was actually the kind of the featured case of how quickly they reacted to it and what a serious threat that is. So we always need to be thoroughly aware of anytime we're using our electronic devices and all that kind of stuff, because usually that's the way they get in. So we appreciate Mr. Piyong keeping our system safe. And the last thing is it actually came up in the Finance Committee, but I think I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again, that the Street Festival had a reception a little over a week ago, where this year we were able to give out $20,000 to 35 different groups in our city. And about 3/4 of them were directly related to Madison City Schools. So I think there was about 30 groups that received a grant of some kind, from elementary all the way through the high schools. And so it's always a good thing that we can give back that money to particularly part of our mission statement is to support education. So that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Overcash. Ms. Lessman?
Well, there's so many congratulations and awards, and it's great to see that tonight. With our visual art exhibit winners, and then we had the National Board Certified Teachers, and what the commonality there, you see the students, we have very impressive students. And why are they impressive? It's the teachers that help them and guide them. And I loved that the students, both of them, recognized their teachers. One of them didn't even think they were good enough to be in the contest, and the teacher saw the potential, and then they won. And then the other one was just inspired by his teachers. So I saw that, and we just have such a great team. And then as well as the National Board Certification, we have so many of those, and they all, thank you to Miss Cindy Davis, they're the leader there too. We've just got some really good leadership here. But not only, they are being mentored by each other. I don't know if, I'll just say it again, probably you guys know, but one of those teachers was a Milken Award teacher, Miss Kelsey Cooper, just a few years ago, and that is a national recognition where, against everybody, and she won 25 grand. It was just a testimony of how great our team is. So I just want to, I'm just so honored to be on this board, and thank you guys for all that you do. I'd also like to thank Ms. McLaughlin for coming up and thanking us for going to the legislative dinner. I know that was a lot of coordination, and you guys do that every year, and we really enjoy getting together for that. So we do want to support our teachers and our educators. And then welcome, Ms. Aldridge. We're so glad to have you. I think you're gonna love it here. So, and then reiterate, thank you, Dr. Donaldson. That was a huge undertaking. Lots of paperwork with that State Department of Education compliance monitoring. So thank you for doing that. That was just last week. And Dr. Zinkel, I don't want to I'm not going to thank everybody again, but I want to say, when you were saying with Dr. Zinkel, I was just speaking to a parent today who was saying your praises, and you were a good hire. So I got to be here for that. So it goes back. Thank you for all that you guys do. And thank you to our superintendent. it's under your leadership. You know, I always say attitude follows leadership, and I think that the culture flows down. So that's all I have to say. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Lessman. Mr. Cummings?
Well, Mr. President, between Ms. Lessman and Mr. Overcash, they took all my ideas here, so I can just kind of mark through some of the things I was going to speak on. So
Well, if you're done, then I'll go ahead.
Well, wait 1 minute. Wait 1 minute. You know, I will say there was a comment made about the bus pickup for our students, and it was early. And our superintendent, and I can imagine our superintendent, our leadership, along with Dr. Scrimshaw with transportation, is definitely going to look into that. Transportation has always been a concern to us. We want our kids to get to school early enough to be able to make breakfast if they needed to eat breakfast. But at the same time, I know we always working to improve our transportation system and just to improve the needs of our system. So I thank you for coming and speaking on that. And I assure you the superintendent, and along with other leadership, will figure out the best moves to make that we can kind of navigate that to help those students get a little bit more sleep. Next, I will say congratulations, Coach Megan. It's outstanding that we got always looking for athletics and academics. And when we heard you as an AP teacher, we were definitely excited what you bring to the table. But we definitely want to win too now. And I will say, you know, we speak about the team and the leadership. And, you know, Ms. Davis was an employee with Madison City Schools, and she is kind of still reaching back to help our National Board Certified teachers, and how our Nationally Board Certified teachers reach back to continue to grow Nationally Board Certified teachers, which is just a tremendous opportunity. And when you hear our teachers get awards, and then they're accepting an award, thinking teachers that impacted their life, is also outstanding. So even though the teacher did not get that award, you know, it's all of it comes back to this Madison City School family that's been built and cultivated for years and years. And I just want to, it's just a tremendous opportunity to be a part of such teamwork and a positive atmosphere. That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm glad I get to go last, and I can just say ditto for all the thanks and the welcomes and all of that. And I mean that sincerely. I would like to thank SRO Ben Bradford that serves Columbia and Rainbow. We thank you for you keeping the schools safe. We thank you for your advocacy and friendship with the students, and just for being a great role model, and for you and all of the police department. We thank you so much. And it leaves me, since everybody got to thank the fun things, this is the most scary time of the year in the state of Alabama. The Alabama legislature is in session. and with that always comes great ideas for education. And with that, you've heard this board speak to it before. Dr. Nichols has sent out an email. Ms. McLaughlin has met with our legislators. We have also we have good friendships. The North Alabama delegation is really a friend to education. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to let them know what's important to you. And there are many initiatives this legislative season that will impact schools, some public schools, in a not positive way. And so Governor Ivey has said that they're going to push through some sort of school choice bill this year. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know, there's going to be probably several that go in, and there's going to be something likely that comes out. This has been a long and coordinated multi-year effort by those that want that, many of which are in other parts of the state. Not so much a Madison City issue, but when the legislature's in session, it's a Madison City issue. And so if you value the education that you get in Madison City, and you value the financial support that the legislature hands out, then you need to write a letter. You need to let your write an email. Say letter. Everybody's like, well, can you really send a letter? Send an email to the North Alabama delegation, to your personal legislative representative, or even any of those in the area, and let them know your position on school choice, because the people who want to divert public money for private education are writing letters and have for years. And the other side's been much quieter. And so I just encourage you to reach out and stand for public education. I think that's all I have on that.
I have one more.
Oh,
She snuck in. May I do one more?
Okay.
Ms. Mims snuck in the back. Ms. Mims, is that you? You're hiding back there. Is that you? Is that a yes? Stand up, Ms. Mims. Yes. She'll be so embarrassed that I do this. I think Ms. Mims left this morning at what time? Like 7? She went with Dr. Nelson from Heritage to go down to be at the state board meeting where Heritage Elementary was recognized as a legislative performance school, one of the top 25 scores in the state on the school report card. And I just want to thank, we're going to have Dr. Nelson and her team here because we're also going to go out there and, can I say that? Do they know we're coming? Okay, and have I was afraid I was letting something out of the bag, a celebration, because they also are a Lighthouse school, and we're going to go out and celebrate them as well. But Ms. Mims, will you not stand up? That really wasn't a question, but it's okay. And but let me tell you something, Ms. Mims, I love her leadership, and here's why. When we have a school that's down an assistant principal, Ms. Mims will be the first one to jump up and go out there and fill in for a day. And it's not like she doesn't have a myriad of things to do, trust me. But she wants to take care of our folks, and she will go out there and do that. And when I knew that Mr. Terrell and I were booked up all day, Dr. Donaldson too, we got a board meeting, we've had things all day. We didn't want Dr. Nelson to go alone to Montgomery, wanted somebody from the district. Without hesitation, she said, I will go. Her only hesitation was she'd already promised to fill in somewhere. And I said, well, they'll just have to live without you for one day because we want you to go down there because the work she does, we got every elementary school was an A on the report card. Behind each of those grades are great teachers and great principals and great staff, great students, but there's also a great coordinator that works and does that. And she will kill me later for saying that. She doesn't like for me to do that, but I just want to know how much we appreciate her. Thank you, Ms. Mims.
And with that, I will
Can I go back to joking?
accept a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Lessman and a second by Mr. Overcash. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. We are adjourned.